Hi everybody, Professor Pipes here with Paint Chip Vocabulary, a new way of introducing vocabulary and using it throughout the year. So if you're looking to mix things up, hopefully this is helpful for you. My kids tend to really like it. All right, so step 1 is kind of optional. It's presenting the vocabulary. You could jump straight into step 2 and just have them do a note taker where they're writing down the definitions of words or looking them up. But a professor of mine recommended presenting the vocabulary in this way, where they fill in what they think the word means and then give a rating from 4, I could teach it, all the way down to 1, I have no idea. This is useful for a couple of reasons. 1, it's practicing their root words and prefixes and suffixes. And 2, it allows them to then see their mastery progress. So they see, they might have a lot of 1s and 2s and a lot of blanks over here when they first start writing down what they think the words mean. And then once they get the definition, they have much higher ratings over here, lots of 3s and 4s. And so they can see immediately, wow, I'm learning these words. And so it's that immediate gratification, which gives them a little bit more motivation to use them and to learn them. So could be useful for you. All right, step 2, teach the vocab. So you do this however you tend to do this. Usually I just do a kind of basic PowerPoint, but all right, step 3 is where you give each kid a paint chip. And so this is the whole premise of it. Each kid has a paint chip. It could just be like a 3x5 note card, but 1, that's a little less fun. 2, they're more likely to lose it. They're much less likely to lose a paint chip, and they like them because they like to see what colors they got. They like to make fun of the little names in the corners of the different colors, that kind of stuff. All right, I tend to make this an actual assignment. The paint chip, they have to give it back to me at the end of the unit, so if they lose it, they don't get those points. I know it kind of sucks, but I don't want to have to go procure more paint chips. Honestly, that's probably the hardest part of this activity, is procuring enough paint chips for your kids. All right. And so up at the top of the paint chip, each one, there would be a vocab word. Underneath that is the definition of the word and then other forms or tenses of the word. So, for example, for persevere, we don't just have persevere, but we also have persevering, persevered, perseverant. So the student could use any of these forms in order to earn points. I'll get back to that. And then finally, some synonyms. Again, these are kind of optional. You could put them up in the definition as well if you only had a paint chip with 3 colors on it instead of 4. So up to you. But it's helpful for the kids who still feel nervous about their word or still are not totally sure on the definition. Maybe they're still at a level 2 or 3 with it instead of a 4. Right. And so you give these paint chips to every kid in the class. There will be some that are doubled. That's fine. And you encourage them to use these regularly during discussions, small group discussions, or answering questions while reading, whatever works for you. And they can use either their vocab word or any of the other tenses of it or forms of it. Which brings us to step 4, the competition aspect. And this is what the kids love. Mine tends to be a competition between the class periods, but you could also just do it as a class reward if they earn enough points and they get this reward. So they're, not competing against each other, just trying to earn a reward. So I have house points, and so they're competing against the other class periods. You can do this with just posters and stickers, however you want to do it. But the competition is the most important part because that's what they love. And so they earn points just by using their card, their word, or the other forms of their word. That's how they earn a point. I make them have the paint chips with them in class, so I know that they're using their actual word, not just any of them. And also just to kind of keep it in mind that they can't lose that card, so they need to have it every day in class. Right. And then step 5 is you need to swap the cards regularly. Otherwise, the same few kids in class who always answer questions, those are the only words they're going to hear and practice. And so you want them to swap those cards regularly so they don't just get used to their one card, but many cards. And then they're hearing lots of cards being used. They're hearing those words being used correctly, and they're using lots of different words correctly. So swapping them maybe once a week, more often, less often, depending on the length of your unit. And that's it for paint chip vocabulary. Just kind of a fun, interesting, competitive way of using vocabulary in the classroom. Hopefully you and your kids find it as fun as me and mine. Bye!